From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is U.S. Farm Report.
Welcome to U.S. Farm Report this weekend. I'm Tyne Morgan, and here's what's in store over the next 60 minutes. A fact-finding mission.
We go into it with no preconceived notions in terms of what we will expect to find.
A preview of the 2023 crop tour as the Midwest turns up the heat. Export demand still in troubled waters, but is a shift set to set sail. She didn't grow up on a farm, but now there's nowhere she'd rather be.
So I say cultivate courage all the time, but really for me that is learning to do all these hard things.
How this Kansas farm wife is helping cultivate courage with other women of ag. And in John's world,
what's going on down south?
U.S. Farm Report, presented by Pioneer. What's next happens when the name on a cap matches the power of one's purpose. Pioneer. What's next happens here.
Now for the news. China's leader is calling for patience as his country tries to reverse a deepening economic slump. Xi Jinping giving a speech this week saying the West's pursuit of material wealth led to, quote, spiritual poverty, end quote. It comes after recent data showed consumer and factory activity further weakened last month, despite promises from the ruling Communist Party to support struggling entrepreneurs. Xi calling for China to, quote, build a socialist ideology with a strong cohesion, end quote, and to focus on long-term goals of improving education, healthcare, and food supplies.
Their currency has now declined again. So I believe it's now to 16-year lows against the U.S. dollar. So it's all an attempt to try to spark better demand to come over and buy Chinese goods. And of course, if China can then sell more of their goods, they would have cash, and then they'd probably start looking to buy more product.
Also on the Chinese front, an important ruling from the World Trade Organization this week about China. It says Beijing's decision regarding certain retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. were inconsistent with the organization's rules. A panel with the WTO recognizing the U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum put in place during the Trump administration as security measures, while rejecting China's decision to impose tariffs on $2.4 billion worth of U.S. products in retaliation. The U.S. Trade Representative's office announcing it was pleased with the report, calling China's retaliation sham safeguard tariffs. In response to the decision, Beijing called on the U.S. to remove its tariffs on metal immediately. Also on the trade front, the battle over GMO corn with Mexico is now escalating. The U.S. Trade Representative's office announcing the U.S. is officially establishing a dispute settlement panel under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement regarding Mexico's stance on biotech corn. Catherine Tai saying in a statement it's critical that Mexico eliminate its inconsistent biotechnology measures so that American farmers can continue to access the Mexican market. While Mexico bans GMO corn for humane consumption, it does allow it for animals. And the U.S. continues to argue Mexico's policy lacks scientific basis. Well, for the first time since Russia ended the Black Sea grain deal, a ship has departed the Ukrainian port of Odessa. Ukrainian officials say the Hong Kong-flagged ship had been stuck in port since February of last year. They say it's traveling through a temporary corridor. It's reported to be carrying more than 30,000 tons of cargo, including food products. But Russia appears to have renewed attacks on Ukrainian ports along the Danube River. Ukrainian officials say Russia is using drones to strike grain storage facilities in the country's southern Odessa region. Ukraine's Operational Command South said Russia hit the territory of one of the ports, destroying hangars with grain and ag machinery. Ukraine's Air Force reports it destroyed 13 drones in the area. Happening right now, operations along the Panama Canal are being impacted by drought. The organization responsible for managing the canal has decided to restrict both the number of ships passing through each day and the amount of cargo that they can carry. Officials say they're taking this action due to a decrease in the water supply caused by ongoing drought due to El Nino conditions. The issues at one of the world's busiest trade passages have forced some companies to find alternative routes. The restrictions will be in place through Monday and limits new reservations passing through the canal's old locks, which are commonly used by smaller vessels. Reuters says that about 70% of traffic through the canal originates from or is inbound for the U.S. And here at home, the clock's ticking on getting a new farm bill done before the current program expires. Leadership of the House and Senate Ag Committee are saying the more realistic goal is completion by the end of the year. Our Michelle Rook had boots on the ground at Dakota Fest in Mitchell, South Dakota this week, and Congressman Dusty Johnson telling her he agrees with that timeline.
We should get a farm bill done sooner rather than later. I know people like to wait until your back's up against a deadline. I like to get my work done ahead of time. But that being said, it's going to take us another month or two to get a good House version. Probably take the Senate that long or a little longer. Then it's going to take us a month or two to try to navigate the differences. That's going to put us up against the end of the year.
The debate continues to be about the final cost of the bill, as House Ag Chair G.T. Thompson has said they want more money for the program, while Senate Ag Chair Debbie Stabenow says there aren't any additional dollars. Plus, the nutrition title and possible work requirements means testing are also a point of contention. Well, we're just a couple days away from the annual Pro Farmer Crop Tour, and the latest check of crop conditions from USDA is showing some improvement. But you can join us each night to see the results live.
49.
It's happening all next week, and you can join us live each night. You can watch the day's results by viewing Crop Tour live online. That's at 8 p.m. Central on all of Farm Journal's social media channels, including agweb.com. Agweb.com also has the link on the homepage. All right, that's it for the news. It's going to be a hot one for Crop Tour next week, so just how historic could the heat be? We'll have a check of your weather next.